Game Pass Recap 2024. My question is, did you get your money's worth? Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Value proposition is a big deal with me. We're grown and we got to know what the heck we're spending our money on. Game Pass. This particular value proposition has been very contentious in the gaming conversation, with all manner of reasons why it shouldn't exist and all manner of reasons why it should exist and why it's actually pretty good. Now, we're looking at basically what has dropped in the past year. If you look at, say, some of the games, and I think something that can actually give us a very clear picture as to where this whole thing was is this image right here that shows pretty much the drops from 2024. Many of them have spilled over to 2025 because they released, say, sometime late this year. Indiana Jones being one of them. Late this year, late last year, Indiana Jones being one of them, and Call of Duty Black Ops 6 being the other. But let's go ahead and take a look at this particular chart and see exactly what the games that turned into Game Pass releases and titles were. This person here, shout out to Bison, or is that their name? And they said Game Pass Recap 2024. 144 games were added in, which is basically 2 more than 2023. 38 day one releases, which was 11 less than 2023. You know what's very annoying, ladies and gentlemen? I remember when I was talking about Game Pass and the value proposition back in 2023. I mean, can't believe we're in 2025. Goodness. And I remember a lot of pushback from a lot of people. Apparently, it was all downplaying until somebody had to run the numbers about how much Game Pass value was at over $9,000, especially when you look at the day one games. So that's what we're looking for. Has it been worth your dough with the day one launches? And if we continue to look at this chart, I'm going to basically leave that answer to you in the comment section. So it says 15 of those games were published by Microsoft, which is 5 more than 2023. And then the average Open Critic score is about 77.2. That's a lot of work that they did, man. So whoever this is, shout out to you for taking the time to go ahead and do so. I think this 2025 is going to be interesting. There are a lot of these, anticipated games coming out across the board, PlayStation, Xbox. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that PlayStation Plus did not deliver in its own right. I'm just saying that the day and date proposition is still where Game Pass has the, edge over everybody else. Even in their leaked document from 23, when PlayStation pretty much got the Insomniac hack, you could already tell that they were mentioning that it wasn't going to be feasible for them to basically take the approach of an elusive subscription service, which Xbox right now has, that they can leverage day one games into their service. I think it really does pay them. So let me go ahead and just talk about the sneakiness of this day one launch, especially when it comes to third-party games. Because with third-party games, they still have the availability to launch everywhere. And so Game Pass can give them a bag that they want to use to secure themselves, and they can still go out there and still sell and do well. One big benefactor for that was Stalker this year. And, Stalker really surprised a lot of people in the sense that Stalker 2 specifically, in the sense that it actually did do well. I was quite surprised when the numbers came out that the game had sold over 1 million copies. But the weird thing is, why was Stalker 2 a surprise when we'd already seen the game Lies of P also replicates something like that? And that's also another crazy thing, because Lies of P did this first, and it was a Souls game. It wasn't even like, say, a shooter or another game in a much more popular genre. Now, granted, Elden Ring had kind of unlocked the door and swung it open for a lot of the folk that are coming out. Basically about a year and change after Elden Ring released, this game came out, it was on all platforms, and it did well. Well, I think Stalker is a little bit more extraordinary. It's not yet on PlayStation, and so it doing well in that regard is actually pretty grand, in my opinion. So I think that's basically where things, in a sense, kind of make people go, okay, this was a very interesting proposition. But in your mind and the way things are going, I'd love to know what your thought process is. Do you think that Game Pass really did, and this is if you subscribed. I can understand if you don't want to use Game Pass, I get it, but you're not going to even be able to answer this question anyways. This question is for those who subscribe for Game Pass. As for me, my value proposition was simply met. I only play about 3 or 4 games every year, and so in jumping into this Game Pass ordeal, I've been able to get hold of Starfield. This was in 23, but whatever. I've been able to get a hold of Indiana Jones and Stalker 2 and Black Ops 6. I think this is probably the year where I got to feel, the investment that I put in, because these 3 games by themselves are about $200. And then having access to even some other titles that I wanted to check out that I never really did beat or complete. Those are probably, in my opinion, the places I'll say, okay, I could probably do a little bit more work, but there're just so many games. So the best I can do is the best that I can do compared to previous years. All right. Talk to me in the comment section. I really appreciate you guys this time, an audience. I really think this chart that was put up here is one that really does showcase, what this particular service is doing. I mean, this is crazy, man. 38 day one releases, guys. Even if you tag all of them at the price point of $30, that still already makes up for all the, all what you pay for your subscription at the end of the day. So it's actually a pretty interesting thing when you think about it. Okay. Like I said, in the comment section, did Game Pass serve you the way you thought it would? Did you get your money's worth? Did you get the value proposition that you came here for? Chat with me. Peace out.